Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala. பொடியான் மயக்கியன் போதத்தை பறித்து உன் போதத்தை காட்டினை அருணாச்சலா. போக்கும் வரவுமில் பொதுவெளியினிலருள் போராட்டங்காட்டருணாச்சலா. பௌதிகமாமுடல் பற்றற்று நாளு முன் பவிசு கண்டுரவருள் அருணாச்சலா. மலை மருந்திட நீ மலைத்திடவோ அருள் மலை மருந்தாயோளீர் அருணாச்சலா. மானம் கொண்டுருபவர் மானத்தை அழித்த பீமானமில்லாதொளீர் அருணாச்சலா. மிஞ்சிடில் கெஞ்சிடும் கொஞ்சவரிவனியான் வஞ்சியாதருளனை அருணாச்சலா. மீகாமல் இல்லாமல் மாகாற்றலை கலம் ஆகாமல் காத்தருள் அருணாச்சலா. முடியடி காண முடிவிடத்தனை நேர் முடிவிட கடனிலை அருணாச்சலா. அருணாச்சல சிவ, அருணாச்சல சிவ, அருணாச்சல சிவ, அருணாச்சலா.
ஓம் நமः பரமரிஷிभ्यो நமः பரமரிஷிभ्यः. ஹரி ஓம். யஸ்யாந்தர்நாதிமத்யம் நஹி கரச்சரணம் நாமகோத்திரம் ந சூத்திரம் நோ ஜாதிர்நைவ வர்ணா ந பவதி புருஷோ நபும்சம் ந ச ஸ்திரீம் நாகாரம் நோ விகாரம் நஹி ஜனிமரணம் நாஸ்தி புண்ணியம் ந பாபம் தத்துவம் நோ தத்துவமேகம் சஹஜசமரசம் சத்குரும் தம் நமாமி. சதாசிவசமாரம்பாம் சங்கராச்சார்யமத்யமாம் அஸ்மதாச்சார்யபர்யந்தாம் வந்தே குருபரம்பராம். மௌனவ்யாக்யா பிரகடிதபரபிரம்மதத்துவம் யுவானம் வரிஷிஷ்டாந்தேவ சதரிஷிகணைः ஆவ்ருதம் பிரம்மனிஷ்டைः. ஆச்சார்யேந்திரம் கரகலிதச்சின்முத்ரமானந்தரூபம் ஸ்வாத்மாராமம் முதிதவதனம் தக்ஷிணாமூர்த்திமீடே. வேதாந்தார்த்தவிபாசகாயேதயே சாந்தாய சந்நியாசினே நானாவாதிநகேந்திரசங்கபவயே யோகீந்திரவന്ദ്யாய ச மோஹத்வாந்ததிவாகராய பகவத்பாதாபிதாம் விப்ரதே தஸ்மை பாஷ்யகிருதே நமோஸ்து சததம் பூர்ணாய போதாத்மனே அபார சச்சித் சுகவாரிராசேः யஸ்யோர்மிமாத்ரம் புவனம் சமஸ்தம் குஹாஹிதம் தம் ரமணம் கபீரம் சிந்தாவிஹீனம் ஹிருதி சிந்தயாமி. தேஹம் மிருண்மயவஜ்ஜடாத்மகமஹம் புத்திர்ன தஸ்யாஸ்த்யதோ नाहं तत्तदभावसुप्तिसमये सिद्धात्मसद्भावतः कोऽहं भावयुतः कुतो वरधिया दृष्ट्वात्मनिष्ठात्मनां सोऽहं स्फूर्तितया अरुणाचलशिवः पूर्णो विभाति स्वयम् योऽन्तः प्रविश्य मम वाचमिमां प्रसुप्तां सञ्जीवयत्यखिलशक्तिधरस्वधाम्ना अन्यांश हस्तचरणश्रवणत्वगादीन् प्राणान्नमो भगवते पुरुषाय तुभ्यम्। अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचल शिव अरुणाचला. Yesterday we saw two verses. The first is பெயர் நினைத்திடவே பிடித்திழுத்தனை. When I thought about your name, you just caught hold of me and pulled me. This is the first verse, 70th verse, and 71st is Pēit-tanam vida-viḍāp piḍit-tenaip Pēia-nāk kinai-yen Arunachala. Bhagavan calls the existence in ignorance as a ghostly existence. You can say he is calling the mind as a ghost. All our spiritual struggle is to be free of that. Manasohi amani bhave dvaitam naivopalabhyate. When the mind is no more there, there is no duality. It is the mind which creates duality. In fact, to be very simple, mind is needed only for the other, not for me. To be myself, this mere existence needs no mind. All thoughts are about the other. Even the I, the self-image, is also other. When we say other, other itself is thought. In the mere I am, thought has no function. You can call it spontaneity, nisargata. In Tamil, Bhagavan calls it as iyalbu nilai. Natural. But when we say natural, it means nature. So you have to find some new term. To be as it is. Existence as I am. The mere easiness needs no thought. Perhaps it is one of the greatest message that we get, that we need no mind. We say mindfulness 2 days before we said mindfulness. But actually when there is fullness, no mind. In South Indian music, of course in Indian classical music, when there is a wrong note, we say apashruti. Shruti means that is it pitch? No, can say pitch, but this is Shruti, background. That is Shruti. Shruti means, spiritually it means jnanam. Atmak jnanam, knowledge of the self, is Shruti. Because it is changeless. In a musical concert, the rhythm, tala will change. The tune will change, raga will change. But Shruti remains changeless. And if a person goes out of Shruti, that concert is a failure. So apashruti. Bhagavan also calls, you can see in Ramanacharana, the Madhur-Bhuteshwara temple, that big board is kept, the death experience, where Bhagavan speaks about his realization. When he found that the body is dead, and who is this I? And found that the I is the immortal self. Then after that realization, it remained with me like the Shruti note. This is Bhagavan's words. In a music concert, like the Shruti, changeless Shruti note. When everything is changing, like this changeless Shruti note behind, this I remained changeless. Ajinkya, come in front, because someone wants to come, it becomes difficult. So the Shruti and apashruti means wrong note, aberration. Is mind. When there is perfect Shruti, no mind. Ignorance, mind, Bhagavan has said in his talks, mind is the symptom of ignorance. When you see a rope as rope, no mind. When you misapprehend the rope as a snake, mind is born. When I see everyone as my own self, no mind. My own seeing everyone as myself means what? I need such questions. I'm very afraid of question answer session. Because if I give permission to ask question, we are seriously into inquiry. Someone asks, why did in Ramayana something happened? Or something like that they will ask. Speak about Giri Pradakshinam. What was the question I wanted? Seeing everyone as the self. See, I myself forgot it. Seeing everyone as the self means what? Jnana means what? In experience, what is it? Seeing everyone as the self means not seeing anyone. See, for this hand is itching. And this goes there and does like that. It will not think we are all related. So I should go and help him. So that if this hand itches, it will also come and help me. He will also come and help me. This is our samsara. But it is spontaneous. No thinking. Myself, I will never think. This is the clarity. Seeing everyone as self means it is not some imagination. I will not think. See, Bhagavan in his, after 68, his age, he was very, very weak. You can see in the video. Walking with the stick. From the very young age he was doing that. And his full support was on the walking stick. And in the ashram, now the kitchen hall, the new kitchen hall, in that area, that time that hall was not there. He was walking. And one dog was chasing a squirrel. In a second, it could have caught the squirrel. At that time, Bhagavan threw his stick in between them and he fell and broke his shoulder. If you think that I will fall, so I should be very careful, let the dog catch the squirrel. If that intellectualization comes, no seeing the self. It is as if you are acting, this hand is helping this hand like that. In spontaneity, he threw the stick, fell down. This is what Upanishad says, seeing the other as the self. Yasmin yastu sarvani bhutani atmani eva anupashyati sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam tato na vijugupsate. Very, very beautiful mantra. It comes in the Ishavasya Upanishad. It comes in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad also. In whom this wisdom, this vision has arisen, that he beholds all as in his self and looks at another as the self, he no more hates anyone. That is one meaning. Another meaning is, he no more, see very, very important meaning. It is, he no more tries to protect himself from another. See, our entire system is to protect yourself from another, because the second person is a thief. That is, the more complicated the society is, you are afraid of everyone. We do not know what the nearby person will do. So when that oneness arises, na vijugupsade, goptum icha jugupsa, the desire to protect is no more there. And hatred is no more there. Aversion is no more there. When there is the other, anya bhava. அது என்ன பாட்டு பகவானோட? அந்நிய பாவம் இன்றி நவ நவமாகும் அனன்னிய பாவமே உந்தீபர அனைத்திலும் உத்தமம் உந்தீபர. It's the Upadesha Undiyar where Bhagavan says Ananya Bhava is true. It is the highest. Ananya Bhava, not seeing the other. And the Upanishad prescribes, it says, the teacher should be like that. Ananya, he should be Ananyena prokte, Ananya prokte, gatiratra nasti, hi aniyan, hi atarkyamanu pramanat. This knowledge of the self is so subtle that you need an Ananya, one who has crossed the border of the other. Otherwise, you don't need any teacher. You can get entire teaching from the Google. And there are apps where you will find all the Vedantic teaching. But you need a teacher like Bhagavan to remove the other, to have that state where there is no other, because other, only for other thought is needed, and other is thought. In myself, thought is not needed. In the simple I am, thought is not needed. The other comes, thought is needed. So the mind is the sign of the other. Mind is the result of accepting the other, even if it is God. The Brihadaranyaka says, God is there, I am here. Kripanaha, he is a petty person. Anyosau, anyoham, nasaveda, he does not know. That is what Bhagavan also says. Ananya bhavame untipara, anaittilum uttamam. This anyam, when I say this, we will think, oh, that we cannot go to that extreme. You need not. As long as you feel comfortable, keep the other. But have this knowledge in your pocket. A time will come when all the other will give you pain. Then you take the diary and check. Oh, it is written there. Every other will give you pain. At last, the greatest pain comes from the I. In deep sleep, there is no other. And the first other that emerges out is I. And that itself looks like a load, weight. Vikalpa. This other means vikalpa. The stillness, the silence where there is no weight of even the I. You have touched that state, had a glimpse of that state, then even to think becomes a great difficulty. You don't want to think. And anything that compels you to think, you want to move away from it. That is the secret of renunciation. Why should I renounce? Because there are certain individuals, there are certain objects, there are certain things which you cannot have them without thinking. Bhagavan has remarked many times like this about possession, even about poetry. When scholars were discussing with him about poetry, writing poems in Tamil, difficult poems, Bhagavan said, I wrote one poem like that in some Virutham, and then said, all these are mental gymnastics. To write this, you have to use the mind too much. And the result is loss of peace of mind. I don't want to write anything. There was a great sage, Sadashiva Brahmendra Saraswati. His works are also very, very profound, beautiful works. Atma Vidya Vilasa. The joy of Atma Vidya. In one of that work, Sadashiva Brahmendra says, the scripture has prohibitions. The tradition, many places it prohibit people from doing this and that. They will say, don't do this. And especially Orthodox circle, you are not a Brahmin, you are not supposed to do this. You are not a man, you are not supposed to do this. You are a woman, you are not supposed to do this. Like that, many things are there. Don't do. Do not do that. This is prohibition. Certain things, for their its own reason, certain things you need not do. Don't do. Modern people, what they will say? The thing that otherwise they will not do. But the moment you prohibit, they will do it. So the best way to make a person do something is to tell him don't do it. You have no right to do it, he will do it. But this sage Sadashiva Brahmendra, he says, the Jnani is such a lazy fellow. He, by his very nature, he doesn't want to do anything. And added to it, this Shastra, the scripture is telling don't do this, don't do that. The word don't do is music to his ears. Ma shabdaka vyavahritani manoharani. The sage says, luckily they are not saying do. They are only saying, don't do, don't do. So any don't is like music to his ears. So the essence is freedom from doing. The body is made of action. The mind is made of thought. You can say the causal mind is made of sleep. The subtle mind is made of thoughts. The physical body is made of action. Gross body, subtle body, causal body. And our real nature is eternally free of action, thought, sleep, samadhi, everything. It is as it is, absolutely free. Freedom is its very nature. Niddirai ninaivu. Bhagavan uses the word niddirai ninaivu. Ninaivu means thought, niddirai means sleep. So the other, even sleep is the other. When you want to be free of the other, one way that you find is sleep. You are bored by the other, you are bored by yourself. So better sleep. And you know, Bhagavan says, this is the drug that common people use. This is the word that Bhagavan uses. He says, this is the drug which common people use to be free of the other. Sleep, Bhagavan calls as a drug. Laya. So what is the state? The state is now there in you as your very nature, as existence. You have no necessity of action to attain it. You have no need of thinking to attain it. Neither should you take the recourse of sleep. It is as it is there, Swayam Prakasha. It is the Kartika Deepam. It is shining there. You have to just turn towards that. The Guru who makes you turn towards that instantaneously, the Upanishad calls him as Skanda. Provided your mind is pure to have that shift. Tasmai mridita kashayaya tamasah param darshayati Bhagavan Sanat Kumara. The Chandogya Upanishad says, here the Sanat Kumara is the teacher. In fact, Kavyakanta Ganapati Muni said, Bhagavan is Sanat Kumara. Because the very Vidya, the method of Sanat Kumara is this shift. Tam skanda itya chakshate. He is called the skanda. Skanda means he makes you glide instantaneously to mukti, liberation. You are identifying with the ego. Drop it. Swami Chinmayananda said once, he had vision of Bhagavan twice, darshan of Bhagavan twice. Once when he was as a young boy, he just walked into the ashram. It was a very hot summer day. He had no idea about spiritual life. just wandering about. He just walked into the ashram, very hot summer, very. The eyes were all blinded. Then he sat before Bhagavan. Bhagavan was sitting in his couch, his chin resting on his right hand, his eyes closed. He has given a very beautiful description. He says, I saw that he looked almost naked. From the feet I looked to his face and I found that his eyes were closed. And the moment I looked at his eyes, they popped open. And they just looked deep into me. And something shook within. Something deep was stirred within. After a few minutes, I just remarked this person is a hypnotist. And he left. But later on, after some 30 years, he had the Shravana, listening to Vedanta Upanishad. And while contemplating and meditating, he recognized that what he got about 15-20 years back was a very precious thing. So after taking sannyasa, he again came to Ramanacharana. Then this happened. Generally it happens in Tiruvannamalai. Some sankalpa you have, Vishwanath Swami generally will say, very careful about sankalpa in Tiruvannamalai. He will say, one desire you have, something happens. So you do not know what is good for you, you will end up in problem. So when he came to Bhagavan's presence, there was about 5 or 6 people there sitting. Suddenly a sankalpa came, I want to talk to Ramana Maharshi alone. That time all those 5 or 6 who were sitting there, they stood up and went out. Then he went near. Bhagavan did not care to look at him. Bhagavan was just staring in vacant space. He said, Swami, I want to ask some question. Then Bhagavan said, Ellarum potum. In Tamil he said, let all go. He said, oh, Maharshi has understood my wish. Then he said, Swami, everyone is gone, only now I am alone, nobody else. Let that also go. Let that also go. This Swami Chinmayananda himself has narrated this incident. So this is the Anya. The I thought is Anya. Even the I thought, the feeling of I is Anya. And once you take a dip into that state where there is no I, you have a taste of that state of egoless state. The Mahayoga, Lakshmana Sharma has written a book, Mahayoga, where he speaks about the state, egoless state, no I state. Once you have a taste of that, the Mauna, then you know that is the state, perfect state of well-beingness, wellness. Anamaya sthiti. The Tattreya sings Jnanamritam Samarasam Gaganopamoham. And in another song he says, Niramayoham, Anamayoham. I am that perfect state of wellness where there is no amaya. Amaya means disease. Amaya means sickness. Amaya means disturbance in any form. Vikalpa. The state where there is no disturbance. Why a sickness is called disturbance? Because it makes me think. So the other is sickness. This is. No ease. No easiness. It is is. There is memory disturbing, there is imagination disturbing, there is sleep disturbing. Right understanding, wrong understanding, misapprehension, pramana, viparyaya, vikalpa, nidra, smritaya. As Patanjali puts it in Yoga Sutra, right understanding, wrong understanding, imaginary thought, sleep, memory. And all these are called kleshaha, trouble, restlessness. There are two classes of Vedantins. One group, they say, you just know the self, you are free. That is also true. But the knowledge itself becomes experience in that case. The knowledge is so powerful that it wakes you up from all dreaming about the other. Then it's okay. The second group is what they say, you have clarity, you know the self, but still you have not got that restfulness in your being. Then you have to walk again. As Swami Ramdas used to say, the river has reached the ocean and still it is flowing. You have understood, you have found the truth of your beingness, and now you want the chitta vishranti, the quietude of the mind. You don't want this sign of madness. You don't want to carry anymore this symptom, this sign of madness in you. Constant thinking about many things. No more any knowledge like right knowledge, wrong knowledge, sleep, imagination, misapprehension, illusion. To be free of all that. And what is there inside instead of mind is ritambhara tatra prajna. Your awareness is filled with the knowledge of the Spirit. Atmajnana Purna. There is the strength of Atmajnana in you. You know, that strength is something very profound. You are no more afraid of anything. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, the disciple at last finds the truth and the teacher appreciates him, telling him that you have attained fearlessness. Abhayam vai janaga praptosi. No more fear of anything. Because fear is the cause of ignorance. Or ignorance is the cause of fear. You are absolutely free of that, and the ignorance creates all the difficulty in life, which Bhagavan calls here as Pēit-tanam. Ahankara is Pei. In Ulladinarpadu, you can get commentary for this Pēit-tanam. என்ன பாட்டது? உருவிட்டு உருப்பற்றும். அது எப்படி தொடங்கிறது? உருப்பற்றி உருப்பற்றி நிற்கும் உண்டு மிக ஓங்கும். It holds to one form, and through all the senses it eats form. First line என்னது? உருப்பற்றி உண்டாம். It holds on some form, it needs some form, and it eats form. It becomes strengthened by holding to some form, some thought, some name, some idea. Uruvittu urupatrum. It can naturally give up one idea, one ideal, one form, one emotion only by holding on to something else. Uruvittu urupatrum. தேடினால் ஓட்டம் பிடிக்கும். You just enquire, it will run away. உருவற்ற பேய் அகந்தை ஓர். The ego by itself has no form, it is a ghost. So to be free of this ego, and what is the cause for the ego? It is sheer ignorance. It is sheer ignorance. You think that you cannot be anything else other than the ego, and the society also is made in such a way that the ego is given all props so that it will stand. You know, Sureshwaracharya says, Shankaracharya's chief disciple, he says, it is too simple to be free of the ego. All the worldly arrangements, scriptural arrangements are made so that you can balance this gooseberry in your nose. This is what the example that he gives. It is like balancing a gooseberry in your nose. It is very difficult to balance it. A little you become lack of attention, it will fall. With all these props, you are keeping this jiva bhava, avidya, ajnana awake. All the school, college, ID card, everything is for what? You get some uru, some form for the ego, some name for the ego, some recognition for the ego. All ideal, religion, caste, everything is for what? So that I can have some identity. And in spite of that, you sleep, the identity goes. And there are moments, lot of gap, where there is no identity. In death also it goes. And consciously you have to be free of it. You should have the jnanam, your swarupa jnanam, by which you can be free of this phantom, this unreal self-image. Actually, Bhagavan asks Pēit-tanam vida, can you be free of this pei? People run from here and there. In Tamil they will say he is running like a pei, like a ghost. We are doing that. You will get good pay in America, you go to America. You get good pay in Europe, English pay. P-A-Y. Payment. You get good payment in Bangalore, you go there. So Bhagavan says, be free of this pay. Pēit-tanam vida. to be free of the other, to be free of the torture of the other. To put it simple way, to be free of the torture of the thoughts, the mind. And more simplifying it, to be free of the torture of the I thought. And why the I thought? Avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhiniveshaha, kleshaha. Patanjali says, avidya, ignorance is the cause for asmita. Asmita means I. So find out what is this I, inquire what is this I. Vida-viḍāp. Like a ghost possessing, you get possessed with self-inquiry. Till you yourself become an exorcist to yourself. You yourself become a physician to yourself. You yourself become a healer to yourself and find that you are the ghost and you are the healer. And determine, resolve to be free of this I. A beautiful question is here, that viraha bhavana, longing. In this there are two, duality. When you want to attain something outside, there is duality. It feels like a spurana bhava. It is not in or from mind. It comes. Please tell something about this self longing for the self. It's Atma Bhakti. We can say the Atma Bhakti. When that self longing for the self means what? The state where there is no Jiva Bhava, the individual sense, I thought. To be free of this limitation, when that longing arises from within, this is mumukshutva. This is mumukshutva in its true sense. Inwardly arises that feeling, that is death experience. We simply say Bhagavan had death experience means what? Inwardly the thirst arose for death. Inwardly like a fire, the hunger arose to die. The ego, I decided to die. See, in sleep also there is a little bit of that. In samadhi also it is there. To be free of this, that is what Buddha says, anatta, anatma. He only struggled for that, how to be free of this I. Nirvana. All this fight, whether it is nothingness or fullness or all utterly useless for a seeker. He struggled. He stayed with two teachers, very well-known yoga teachers of his time. With all their teaching, he struggled. Then also he found that his mind is plunging into samadhi, but when he arose, again the Atma comes, I comes. Yalgatvana nivartante taddhama paramam mama. Gita Krishna says, by going where I will not return. That is the supreme abode. By entering where there is no more coming back. That is the supreme abode. So to enter into that state, to enter into that light, the struggle goes on. And that is the spiritual longing spoken here. Actually, that is the initiation of the self. That is what Bhagavan said, the moment I thought about your name, that longing arose. The moment I thought Aruṇāchalam, that longing arose in the form of death experience. Brihadaranyaka Upanishad says all attachment is death. Mrityoho rupani. Anything that limits you is a form of death. Any individual, any emotion, any object that limits your existence is death. So to be free of death means what? To be free of this limitation. Not by sleeping. Not even by limited samadhi. But to know that your very existence, very self is infinitude. There is no limitation in your real nature. Then only this sorrowful existence of a ghost will come to an end. Pēit-tanam. To be free of this Pēit-tanam, vida-viḍāp is a usage in Tamil. Vida-viḍāp means with tremendous enthusiasm. An energy arises inside you to do sadhana, to inquire. Generally, we see that in seekers, that energy very easily fizzles out. For some period, some duration, it is there. After that, it goes away. Or it becomes mild. The force is not there. The struggle is not. There is what they call in sending this rocket, satellite. They use a term, escape velocity. You should have the force to push it outside the gravitational pull. So too the mumukshutva. The longing for freedom should have such power that it pulls you, it pushes you out of the orbit of samsara. Once you are outside that range, no more you again get caught. That Ramakrishna used to say that Maya, Divine Mother, she is grinding rice for making dosha or idli. So in olden days, they will have that grinding stone. And she will be grinding. The mother will be grinding or a grandmother will be grinding and they will put the rice. Some rice grains will go this side, that side. And she will just put her hand like this and pull it towards and grind. So this is what Divine Mother is doing. You try to escape, she will pull you towards the grinding stone. And the only way you can escape is to stay right under the grinding stone. The center. So this is vida-viḍāp piḍit means with so much enthusiasm. We need enthusiasm. Satsang is only for that. We forget. Very often we forget. So again and again remind you. Because the whole world is full of symbols that remind you about senses, about mind, about I, you, about pleasure, about pain. So you need powerful symbols, powerful words to awaken you and remind you that there is an existence free of all this. Nirvana. Even Buddha is telling his disciples, go and give this varta. The word that he uses is varta. Varta means message. In Bhagavata also it is there. The same word is there. Bhagavata says, vartam sake kirtaya tirtha kirte. My dear friend, go and give this varta. The moment a person listens to this varta, it will purify him. Because the inner being will conceive with nirvana. It will, the seed or seed of liberation is sown. The dream for getting liberated will start to operate. Bhavana. Krishna says in Gita, Bhavana. And the Bhavana will lead to Nirvana, Shanti, Jnanam. Nacha abhavayata shantihi ashantasya kutas sukham. So Pēit-tanam vida, to be free of this Pēit-tanam, this suffering due to ignorance, vida-viḍāp, Sadguru is catching hold of the disciple. Bhagavan Ramana is catching hold of the disciple. Arunachala is catching hold of the disciple and will not leave him till he crosses the border of ignorance. Vida-viḍāp piḍit. There are three types of gurus. Ramakrishna says that some Vaidya, physician, medical practitioner is like a very busy doctor. He just gives you prescription. Now they even give prescribed online. Not even touching you, not even looking at you, just prescribe, go. And another doctor, he gives the prescription and he sees whether the patient is taking the medicine. Very often asking, checking, having conversation. And the best of the physicians, Ramakrishna says, the Vaidya, he puts the patient down, sits over him, makes him open the mouth and just thrusts the medicine into his mouth. So this is what Bhagavan calls vida-viḍāp piḍit. Like a ghost, he catches hold of the disciple and gives intravenous injection. Pēia-nāk in Arunachala. Brahma Veda Brahmaiva Bhavati. There is a stone called Chintamani. In English they translate it as philosopher's stone. Chintamani, I don't know why they do it as philosopher's stone. But that is how they speak about it. So that Chintamani, with that you can make gold. Some lead, if Chintamani touches it, the lead will become gold. That is the poetical imagination. Many people have ruined their life in trying to find Chintamani. So, Shankaracharya says, Chintamani, you cannot compare Guru with Chintamani. Because Chintamani only will transform a lead as gold. It will not transform a lead as Chintamani. But Guru will transform the disciple as himself. Sviyam samyam vidhatte. He transforms him as himself, as Brahma. So Pēia-nāk, Bhagavan says, Arunachala caught hold of me and dealt a death blow to my ego and made me Arunachala. And this Pēiyan is Shiva, is also called Pēiyan. Shiva is a bhutam. Shiva is a mad person. Naked fellow. In Tamil he is called the naked fellow, Nakkan. Nakkanai nindranai Arunachala. Bhagavan calls in Aksharamanamalai, Arunachala, you stood before me naked. Nakkanai nindranai Arunachala. And he made Bhagavan also naked. You know why Bhagavan calls Arunachala his father? Because Bhagavan's father Sundaram was a pleader, an informal lawyer. So he had lot of case files in his house. Case files means what? Somebody's fight, issues. They are all there. He has kept everything in his house. One day this Venkataraman as a boy found so much paper going on waste. He took all those case files, made a boat out of them and left them floating in rainwater. One day Sundaramaya, that day he came back and saw that all his client's case file floating in rainwater. He said, and the payala கூப்பிடு, call that fellow here, make him naked and drive him out of the house. This is what he said. Remove his dress, make him naked and drive him out of the house. That is exactly what happened. So Bhagavan said, my father told me and Arunachala did the same thing, so he is also my father. மொட்டை அடித்து என்னை வெட்ட வெளியில் நீ நட்டமாடின என் அருணாச்சலா, நக்கனாய் நின்றனை அருணாச்சலா, பேயனாக்கின என் அருணாச்சலா. Arunachala, you are a payan and you are a madman and you have made me a madman. Pittan, one devotee, Sundar, very beautiful story, very different type of story. He, according to the story, was one of the attendants of Shiva. Due to some curse, he had some love affair in Kailas. Due to that, Shiva said, you cannot have these things here, you go to earth better and get married and then come back. So he was born and two women from Kailas also were born. என்ன பேர் அவளுக்கு? பறவை நாச்சியாரும் சங்கிலி நாச்சியார். Two women, they were also born. But the problem is when you come to earth, you just forget from where you are coming, your source. So Sundarar, he told Shiva that it is certain that by going to earth I will forget you. But you should remind me, you should not allow me to forget. Shiva said, yes, I will come and catch hold of you if you forget. Only few years, about 17 years, you have to stay there, that's all. So he comes here, was born in a Brahmin family, but a very poor family. Very radiant boy, playing in the streets. A local chieftain, someone like a king. He found the boy unusually attractive. And he had no son, no progeny. He asked this Brahmin, can I adopt the boy? So he took the boy and the boy grew up as his son. By the age of 15 or so, those days, very young age, he decided to get his son married. And they selected a very traditional Brahmin girl and the marriage was arranged. And the boy was very happy that the marriage is going to happen and there was great celebration. While the celebration was happening, there was some cacophony outside the hall. Something was happening. Anyway, he is a young boy, he didn't care. But all the people who were very busy, they were going to celebrate the marriage, they saw that old man, very radiant but looks little eccentric, has come there. He says, who is getting married here without my permission? He said, why should we take permission from you? In our family, some marriage is happening. Who are you after all? He said, I am coming from Tiruvannamalai, the nearby village. These stories happened very near Tiruvannamalai. It's about 50 kilometers from Tiruvannamalai. You can go to that place now, even now. So this person said, I belong to this Tiruvannamalai and this Alala Sundara. This handsome, you cannot even say young man, boy, he belongs to a family which is traditionally slaves to me. Sundarar said, very interesting. I have never heard that a Brahmin, in fact, there was no slavery at all here. How can a person becomes a slave to another person? And this old man said, you keep quiet. You were born only yesterday. This is the Tamil usage, young boy, நேத்திக்கு பிறந்தமா. So he said, you were born only yesterday. Keep quiet. When elderly people are talking, shoo, he said. He looked at the old man. The story is very beautiful. On one side there is fear, because someone is coming to obstruct my marriage. On another side there was an ecstatic thrill in his whole body. The eyes were with fire, looking at him. And the old man was not looking at him at all. He was making such a noise there. I will not allow this marriage to take place. This is not the destined marriage actually. This is a new addition, agami karma. So the old man says, I will not allow this marriage to happen. Because, why? Everyone asked why. Because his grandfather has given me a written document that whoever comes in this family is a slave to this Tiruvannamalai Antana, this Brahmin. He said, looks very funny. People asked, where is the document? He took the document and showed. See here. Sundarar said, let me see. I will not show you. Who are you? I will produce this document in my village because these people will only support you. I want to take you to my village and we will have a panchayat, a meeting there, a court, local court. See, people were all feeling that irrational nature of the argument. But the mystery is nobody could say no to him. He just walked, everybody were following him like that Pied Piper. He just walked, everyone were following him. He walked to that village and a panchayat was arranged. People were sitting and they said, show us the document. He showed the document. You know what this boy did? He just jumped and caught hold of that document and tore it and put it in fire. This is the Jiva Bhava. The Jiva wants to escape from Ishvara. Because the attraction for the world is so much that it wants to escape from the divine. He just tore it and put it in fire. Then the person made such a noise and fight that you all saw what this boy did. You all saw that he is afraid of me because he knows about this document. So he made such a noise there that, but the elderly people, they felt it is very good that this boy did this. Now we can fully support. Let the marriage happen. So they all said, see, sir, you have brought some document, but no one of us saw that document. Perhaps it is only a blank paper. Anyway, this boy has thrown that blank paper or written document in fire. No proof now. So we cannot support you. The old man said, I know that all of you will support him. So what I showed is only a duplicate. The original is there with me. He took another document. See, Ishvara can produce any number of documents. He took another document, and before that he said, you should arrange protection for me. I need protection from this fellow. He is very dangerous. So at last, the document was produced. The signature was verified. It was all perfect. And people around, they could not say anything. And they said what to do. It's very sad that the marriage was cancelled. And Sundarar said, what should I do? You are his attendant now. Whatever he says, you have to do. Then people, they asked, where is your house in this village? He said, I will show. He just walked and everyone followed him. He entered the temple in Tiruvannamalai and disappeared. Suddenly this boy Sundarar woke up as if from a dream, and all the last birth incidents unfolded before him. He entered the temple and disappeared, vanished there, and then Sundarar asked, what should I do? Oh Lord, such immense compassion you have come. Such immense compassion you have come to rescue me. Otherwise I would have got caught in this samsara. Now you rescued me. Now what should I do in this birth? Lord said, sing. This is what every enlightened being is supposed to do. Sing. Sing about me. Sing about this compassion, this grace. How should I call you? What is your name? He asked, what is your name? He said, how did you call me? Like that you sing. Because the first name that in this birth that he called is madman. Mad fellow. Like that you sing. Pitta pirai shudi perumane Aruṇāchalā. 3 names. The first thing that he says is Pitta, madman. Actually, this story we have to come in Paitiyam Patri. But here it has come. Pitta, madman. Piraishudi, one who wears the moon in his head. Perumane, oh the Supreme Being. Aruṇāchalā, oh the person who is personified grace. The form is Aruṇāchalā. You appeared, manifested in this form just to shower grace. Pitta Piraishudi Perumane Aruṇāchalā. So that song is very famous where he calls Bhagavan as Pēit-tanam, as the madman. He is very mad. He has no value for this worldly life. He disturbs your worldly life. You can ask why you disturbed. Because that is the only way I can bring you out. For what? To make you free. To give you true peace. There is no other way. Thus, pulling me out of this orbit of suffering, pulling me out of this whirlpool of suffering, you made me a payan, a ghost in Arunachala. What a wonder is this Arunachala. In such forms do you wander about here. The Vedas says, E tirthani pracharanti srukavanto nishanginaha. As the great renunciate, as the absolutely detached beggar, like a madman, Shiva moves about. In the pilgrim centers, Tirthani, the sacred pilgrim centers, like Arunachala. And by His grace, we also lose our ignorance, walk out of this ignorance, ajnana, avidya, and be free of this ajnana, attain that nirvana. This is the highest attainment. The spiritual life is a journey for that. It's a very, very gentle movement where you need a lot of support from the scriptures, support from the teachers, support from fellow travelers, support from your own intellect, mind, senses, will. Support from every corner of your life so that the life can become complete, full. And this support, Bhagavan calls it like putting a staff for the sake of the creeper to hold. A creeper, like a tender creeper, withering and wilting away for want of support. I may not get carried away by power of Maya and deluded by samsara, so please be my support and graciously protect me in the same way a post supports a tender creeper. Like a post, like a pillar, like a staff, like a stick, which is kept as a support for a tender creeper. Like that, the spiritual mind, which is very sensitive, the mind which is longing for the higher attainment, which is very gentle, very tender. It is like a baby, like an infant. Shankaracharya says it is like an infant. Bhakta Arbhaga. Arbhaga means an infant. And bhakti is like the mother. Shankaracharya says the bhakta is like an infant and bhakti is like a mother. So what does she do? She gives all support to that infant. She feeds the baby with nectar like stories, he says. She She feeds the baby with nectar like stories. She covers the baby with the blanket of goosebumps, horripilation. She gives him bath with melting devotional tears. She protects him with mystical signs of bhasma, rudraksha, tulasi beads, everything. She makes the child sleep in the cradle of divine moods, imagination. Anandashrubihi atanoti pulakam nairmalyataschadanam. She covers her tender body with the dress of purity. Vacha shanka mukhe stitaischa jatarapurtim charitramrtaihi. The body of a bhakta is made of bhakti, and that body needs food, nourishing food through divine stories. So she feeds him with that. Vacha shanka mukhe stitaischa jatarapurtim charitramrtaihi rudrakshaihi bhasitena deva vapushaha raksham bhavat bhavana paryanke viniveshya bhakti janani bhaktarbhakam rakshati. This bhakti janani, this divine mother of bhakti, protects the infant bhakta by putting him in the cradle of imagination or divine dreaming power. Otherwise, the samsara dreaming power will overpower you. Thus, by giving support from every side, Arunachala will protect you. See, that is the greatness. Bhagavan's self-enquiry is too refined. It is so fine, like a modern, what they call keyhole surgery or razor surgery. It needs such an atmosphere. See, the old surgery, sometimes they do with knife, they can do it anywhere. But such surgery, it needs such refined instruments, such a place where you will not get infected. Everything is kept clean. Like that is Arunachala. You have every protection. Everywhere you see devotees. Otherwise, fear will come for a spiritual aspirant. Oh, I am alone in this world. Everyone is having some different life. So I am alone. But you are in Tiruvannamalai. This side, that side, you look all mad people. Seeking for something which is not this world. Crowd for what? For going around the hill. A kind of strength comes. So a sane person becomes misfit here. The so-called sane person. So the support is there. The divine madness is accepted. This is the support of Patru, which Bhagavan calls as Patru Kodai. Give me support, Arunachala. Protect me by giving support. Although self-enquiry is so direct, it is very refined. It needs all the support outside so that the tender creeper of spiritual life will not get disturbed by the violent storms of worldliness around. So, Paingodiyanan Patrindri Vadamal. Without a good support, the tender creeper will go dry. It will wither away. So I want a patru, a hold, a support. To keep the divine passion alive, you need, from everywhere you need support. And that support Bhagavan is asking in this song for all of us. So this is the 72nd verse. Here we will know how the spiritual props are needed from outside. So this we will continue tomorrow. This patru has another meaning. It also means attachment. If you take it like that, when you have attachment, there is meaning for life. That is how the worldly life is running. You have attachment with somebody. There is, the passion has some place to flow. Then life becomes meaningful. You have attachment to nobody. Life becomes worthless, meaningless, useless. And attachment is the cause for suffering. Attachment is cause for bondage. Attachment is the direct road to hell. So here Bhagavan is saying, without attachment, this tender creeper will wither away. You be my attachment, Arunachala. Give me the divine attachment. Attachment for the higher life. Attachment for Bhagavan. Krishna says in Gita, Asakti means attachment. You have attachment to me, to Bhagavan. Mai asaktamanaha. When you are attached to the infinite, when you are attached to the nirguna, then you are free of samsara. We will continue this tomorrow. Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Aruṇāchalā, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Arunachala Shiva, Aruṇāchalā. Yato mamatma bhavasi tvameva, tato na vachyam mama kinchidasti, yatha tavishtam kuru mam tathaiva, tvam atmanatham Ramanam bhaja.